average. 5 of his shutouts have come in this building. Philadelphia is lined up to play the Rangers in the first round of the playoffs. The Bruins on the brink of clinching the Eastern Conference regular season title. The game is on Sunday. It was a tremendous game between these two teams. No reason to expect that it won't be any different today. Bergeron almost feeds Riley Smith down the slot. Here's Marchand going to the corner. Puck rattles around and the Flyers break it out. Scott Hartnell going long for Voracek on the set play that would have been icing if Voracek hadn't been ahead of the dots. Marchand can't catch up to the puck. Mark Streit backhands it off the boards. Giroux slings it deep, and it's off to the races right away, Brick.
Yeah, and I think more and more teams are going to try to use that kind of play against Chara on that side. The Bruins really try to stand up in the neutral zone, Chara being one of the better ones at doing that.
Ronaldo lays out Lucic as Lucic was in that vulnerable zone, and Lucic is willing to go, dropping a glove. Ronaldo keeps him on, and Lucic says, fine, I'll get my 2 minutes worth, and pops him right in the jaw.
Great open ice hit by Ronaldo. Got there with timing, read the play well, and took a real good angle. And this is not a low hip check. This is shoulder to shoulder. And when you have the advantage of being the defending player, and Lucic has his eye on the puck initially, so he can't really get his head up in time to avoid this contact. I mean, that's a great open ice hit by a guy that brings a ton of energy to the Flyers lineup. There is a slight possibility the Bruins could play the Flyers in round one, Jack. Milan Lucic obviously trying to come right back at Ronaldo and challenge him. Ronaldo didn't want anything to do with him.
So Philadelphia on the power play. Claude Giroux has been absolutely a house of fire and better than a point per game when he finally got his thumb straightened out. Timonen flips the puck down to the corner. Scott Hartnell against Boychuk. Boychuk gets body position, tries to wedge it past Wayne Simmons. The puck comes around back to Timonen. Snaps it down to Giroux. The one-touch pass back to Timonen. Giroux holds it with Chris Kelly in his face. Giroux back to Timonen. He's got Voracek top of the circle. Back to Timonen. Voracek on the other side of the umbrella looking for the high slot tip from Hartnell. Kelly gets in the way, and Boychuk hammers one 160 feet. Eriksson breaking forward for the puck. Minute 15 to go on the power play.
Good structure defensively by Boston, killing the penalty. You want to take away the most dangerous player, the most dangerous chance, and Giroux becomes who you concentrate on.
Timonen down the boards, back to Giroux, a great shooter, and he slings it wide. Voracek turns away from Paet's pressure. Timonen back to Voracek. Again, it's Hartnell in the high slot with Simmons right in front of Rask. Giroux down low to Simmons, turns and fires. Paddle saved by Rask. Bartkowski on the rebound, rattles it through the corner and out.
You know whose man Simmons is in that situation? Rask's. It's a nice play by Giroux. They set up that 2-on-1 on the short side. They work it down to the goal line. Rask has to handle that shot by Simmons, and he does.
Vinny LeCavalier, the left shot on the right wing, sends it back to Mark Streit, a crafty player at the blue line. Over to Andrew McDonald, a draft deadline pickup from the Islanders. Streit fakes the shot. McDonald at the dot, across, gives it to Schenn. Schenn back to McDonald, and it hops off his forehand. Schenn lobs the puck to the end glass. Braden Schenn against Chara. Marchand knocks it free, and Chara knocks Braden Schenn right into the corner board. Andrew McDonald spins it to Streit. Cross ice, Braden Schenn's wrist shot saved by Rask. One shot on goal during the power play. A minute and 27 seconds of attacking zone time for the Flyers. Lucic now out of the box. Streit turns and drives one. It deflects off a stick to the end wall. Boychuk puts the body on Matt Reed. LeCavalier in front. Bergeron, Johnny on the spot, but he gives it right back to Reed. Reed, some quick steps to the corner. Feeds it for Schenn, but Bergeron picks it off. Wrists it through the corner. Lucic can't make the self-pass past Braden Coburn. LeCavalier off Boychuk's stick. Now off the apron of the goal. Braden Schenn scrapes it around. Nicholas Grossman, who's playing through a tremendous amount of pain and is usually in a walking cast when he's not in a skate in these last weeks of the regular season. Bergeron picks off Coburn's cross-ice pass. Lucic will wing it in. Louis Eriksson takes the hit from Coburn. Eriksson getting some time in the spot usually occupied by Jerome McGinley. McGinley not dressed for this afternoon's game. Rask can't get the puck through Jay Rosehill. The no-angle shot. Rask holds the post as Adam Hall tried one from right along the goal line.
Yeah, pretty good idea by Hall to take a bad angle shot because Rask was getting back to that short side after handling the puck. We'll go back to the stop on Simmons. They create the 2-on-1 against Hamilton. And when you have enough time and space, that's the play to make. Attack the goal, maybe get your own rebound. Rask able to handle Simmons, and Philadelphia trying to follow up on a less than spectacular power play. A real strong penalty killed by Boston for the follow-up 5-on-5 shift.
Luke Schenn off a stick, up and out of play. And so the face-off in the Boston zone.
I want to go back to that original play that you talked about, the dump in before the red line by the Flyers and the defenseman Grossman. If you have a guy like Voracek with speed to the outside, and because the Bruins really stand up at their defensive blue line, to force Chara to pivot and have to go get to that puck or get to the dot first, that's a difficult play for the big man. See more and more teams try to use that as one of their weapons coming through center ice.
Jordan Caron one-hands the puck down into Andrew McDonald's corner, misses the check. McDonald swivels the puck for Michael Raffl. Now here's Adam Hall. Turns at the Boston line, holds it on the backhand, throws it for Raffl in front. Krug gets a piece of it. Luke Schenn in the slot, tries to feed it low for Rosehill. Rosehill behind the goal. Kelly picks off the puck. Ron has a little bit of time, knocks it off the boards through center.
Yeah, the Bruins' challenge right now is try to develop a little momentum of their game. You go right back to the Ronaldo hit on Lucic early, the resulting power play, and they've had the dominant puck possession in the Bruins' offensive zone as a result of that hit.
Grossman wrists the puck around, back of the Boston goal. Voracek can't track it down. Riley Smith lugs it out to center. Voracek reaches around, but Smith whips it in deep, and it hops over Emery's stick. Patrice Bergeron going through the corner. Grossman, good short triangle work in the defensive zone, but there's Chara to put the shoulder on Voracek and deprive Philadelphia of speed through the neutral zone. Hartnell gives off to Streit, the defenseman, closes on the left wing. Streit fires it into a couple of skates. Giroux upended on Marchand's check. Marchand got the leverage underneath. The puck comes off Chara's stick. Chara saves the pass for Timonen in front. Simmons stick handles outside the line and brings it back into the zone. It's offside.
Tune into NESN as we'll have every angle covered as the Bruins finish the regular season and head into the playoffs. This season's quest for the cup is presented by Xfinity, the future of awesome.
Once again, we'll have first round play-by-play rights. And then even if the Bruins should advance and the national networks pick them off, NESN will offer you tremendous in-depth coverage, pre and post game, and of course every day on NESN Sports Today. Matt Bartkowski over to Sean Thornton, softly up the boards looking for Campbell. It rattles around off of LeCavalier, off Campbell, and up over the glass.
Nice job at the ceremony for the 7-player award, Jack. Well executed, well stated, as always. Hitting the nail on the head with your comments, and I really like the selection. There are a number of good, options.
Yep.
Certainly, Carl Soderberg's done well. And Chad Johnson, a guy like Kevin Miller, all worthy of consideration and worthy of winning the award, actually. But Riley Smith probably the best choice.
Yep. Buying in and fitting in, and that's really what Riley Smith did. And Patrice Bergeron, the first to defend him verbally, publicly, when Smith has not had a lot of goal scoring in the last 18 games or so. Rask makes the save on Wayne Simmons. Smith with just one goal in his last 25, as a matter of fact, but Bergeron very pleased with how the guy who was right has been playing.
Zach Ronaldo brings a ton of energy, some physical play to the Philadelphia Flyers lineup, which is why he's a valuable piece of their attack. Last Sunday in Philadelphia, a good solid hit on Jerome McGinley. McGinley came back, they dropped the gloves, he got the better of that battle, and here we are again this afternoon. Open ice hit to start this game against Milan Lucic. Now, in that game Sunday down in Philadelphia, Sean Thornton went over, had a little discussion with Ronaldo. Ronaldo didn't want to engage Thornton, and he certainly didn't want to engage Lucic in that situation. And gave the Flyers an early power play, but the Bruins get a big penalty kill.
And for those who are statistically obsessed, Ronaldo with a goal and 2 assists, 137 penalty minutes, and sporting a -13. But he's the biggest factor in this game so far. It's not about statistical glory. And we've said it before. Here's a feed in front, and it hops over Simmons' stick all the way back to center. But the Bruins and Flyers are twin sons of different mothers. These two teams love to bring the attack right at their opponents, and it leads often to extremely entertaining games between the two franchises. Lucic finishes his check on Nicholas Grossman. And yeah, that is a burr under the saddle of Milan Lucic. Rask swings it around to Bartkowski. Lucic bumps into Reed and pokes the puck back to Bartkowski. D to Boychuk. Boychuk the diagonal, tape to Lucic with Krejci driving the middle. Krejci's backhand saved by Emery. Can't find it, thought it was in his pads, and Krejci was picking it up on the end boards but couldn't connect on a centering pass. Couturier to Reed. Reed closes the wrist shot. Stick saved by Rask, and he controls the rebound out of Ronaldo's reach. Bartkowski lobs the puck to Lucic. He redirects it past the red line.
The benefits of making that first good pass coming out of your own zone. The Bruins go D to D. Bartkowski to Boychuk. And Boychuk with that pass across the ice to a wide open weak side wing in Milan Lucic.
Bruins' first shot on goal coming at the 7:40 mark of the first period. Bergeron gets in the way of Raffl's pass. Rosehill tries to get it to Raffle. He gets it around Hamilton, but Mazzaros is back on the diagonal. Rosehill loses the puck to Marchand, to Hamilton across the zone. Mazzaros takes the space. The ex-Flyer wrists it around through both corners. Marchand picking it up on the backhand. Works to the corner against McDonald. Bergeron in front, and Emery sticks it away. Riley Smith would have had a golden chance if not for Emery's stick check. Mazzaros taps over to Krug. Ahead for Smith. Hartnell coming a long way to put the hip on Smith. Paille swings the puck to the end boards. Campbell. Grossman staples him into the end wall. Giroux gets the puck out. Strike the defenseman. Leads the break on the left wing with Giroux driving the net. The shot off Thornton's stick up and out of play with 11:11 to go in the first. So
important how you come out of your own zone. If you make the right decisions and then execute, real good things will happen up ice. Get a look at that perfect pass from Boychuk to Lucic. Now you have speed through the middle with David Krejci. You create a 2-on-1 coming across the blue line. Pretty good scoring chance on a backhand against Emery.
Sometimes in games, teams get early power plays, can't click, and they seem to miss fire for most of the day. Sometimes they find their attacking rhythm, and it just sticks with them. McDonald's drive goes wide and comes out the other side. And Philadelphia keeps possession. With the Flyers this afternoon, small sampling to be sure, but it's the latter of the two. Erickson, the short pass for Krejci. Krejci chips past Simmons, who goes way out of line to interfere with him, and they let that go starting about a year and a half ago. Krejci now on the end wall, pinning in Timonen. Boychuk rattles it through Schen's stick. Coburn out to center. He's turned the puck over a couple of times already, Braden Coburn. This guy can really skate, though. Coburn right up through the middle of his own zone. Serpentine route, pulls up at the red line and hoists the backhand in. Krug taps around through the corner. Caron against Couturier. Couturier shields the puck. Sticks it back to the point. Andrew MacDonald wrists it around through the corner. Caron takes it off of Mazzaros' stick check. Up to Soderberg, the new daddy, with Sophia born on Thursday evening. Sends it the length of the rink. And Kelly mashes Luke Schenn into the end wall. Reed can't control the outlet pass, and Krug has it for Boston.
And that's a good hit by Kelly because he could have easily came right at the numbers, but he gets at a good angle. Still want to make body contact, but not be penalized.
McDonald has Streit on his left. Gives it middle for Giroux. Second chance over the line. Raska kick save, and Hamilton spanks it out of the middle. Chara, the one-hand flick to Marchand. Bergeron Voracek comes from behind, kicks to the stick, and quick transition, stopping on the puck. Voracek, the high triangle for Giroux, can't pull it past Bergeron, and the Bruins counter 3-on-2. Riley Smith with Bergeron middle and Marchand near side. The shot and a save by Emery. Now the goal comes off its pegs, and Hartnell's willing to go with Marchand, who turns down the offer. Tuukka Rask on his game early. Midway through the first, it's 0-0.
Fitting was the first word out of Claude Julien's mouth when asked about Gregory Campbell's nomination for the Masterton Trophy. Of course, the eventual award going to the NHL player who best exemplifies perseverance, dedication, and sportsmanship to the game of hockey. The nomination alone makes Campbell our key matchup, brought to you by Buick. See why thousands are switching to Buick. If you ask 10 people in Boston if Gregory was deserving of the award, 9 would say of course, and Gregory Campbell would be the 10th one. Campbell saying he feels like there are far greater challenges past and present nominees have overcome as opposed to his broken leg. But of course, Campbell very honored to be nominated for the award.
And Jamie, that is such a typical reaction from Gregory Campbell. One of the most humble and sincere people that we've ever encountered. Well, here we go. Rosehill and Thornton. And Rosehill gets a couple of pops in. Rosehill, the reach advantage here. Rosehill trying a couple of jabs. Neither player able to land a damaging blow yet. Thornton with a left jab. Oh, he straightens him up with a right. Now it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Thornton loses his balance and goes down after taking a straight right. Sean Thornton, it is his 10th fighting major of the season, which leads the team.
Yeah, it starts right off the face-off, along the board side. They line up shoulder to shoulder. 2 big bodies, 2 heavyweights in this league. And this is Bruins Flyers. You know, the question for the Bruins, Jack, at this point, and we mentioned it the other night in Toronto, is, they're waiting for the playoffs to get here. And they're trying to fine-tune a few things. But other than locking up the conference, they're really, what are they playing for? It's a phrase I don't like to use, but it tells you what's going on with this Bruins team. Flyers obviously need the points. They need to continue to play. The Bruins are looking to play the game the right way, and part of playing the game the right way is that for Sean Thornton.
Michael Raffle tries to get it middle. Torrey Krug bunts the puck back to the corner, rattles off Campbell's legs. Mazzaros to Krug, little flamingo step. Mazzaros shields the puck from the oncoming pressure of Raffle, who has his stick caught up in Mazzaros. Krug goes D to D. Mazzaros patient with it, stick handles around Raffle. Now gets it out to Paille. Paille high off the dasher. Schenn, McDonald back to Luke Schenn. Andrew McDonald with the Bruins in the middle of a change. Couturier trying to pick up the bouncer on the corner with Bartkowski draped on him, and Boychuk caves in Couturier. Simmons tries the pivot but loses an edge. Krejci takes the puck away. Bartkowski twists it around for Boychuk. Boychuk up the boards for Lucic. Eriksson cross ice too far forward for Krejci, who's in a race with Timonen. Krejci pulls the puck around on the forehand. Brings it back to Bartkowski, the one-timer off the skate of Simmons, and deflects wide. Lucic on the doorstep. Lucic trying to wiggle it to Eriksson. Now Timonen and Krejci once again, second time on this shift. Bartkowski pinching down to seal it in. Lucic goes underneath Braden Coburn, who loses his stick but kicks the puck through to Simmons. Simmons swivels it to Couturier. Couturier works against Hamilton and tumbles it into the corner. Chara back to retrieve with Matt Reed in pursuit. Up ahead for Marchand, can't step around Giroux. Voracek to Grossman. Grossman lifts it over Marchand, but not over Bergeron. Bergeron has right side transition. Smith the backhand. Bergeron kicks to the stick, but couldn't get the bouncer to sit flat as Streit put the body on him. Philadelphia doing a good job of engaging physically. There hasn't been a lot of space for the Bruins to operate.
Yeah, Flyers playing some real good hockey lately, and they made a good move middle of the season towards late in the season to get themselves in the spot that they want to be, and as a result, you have to be playing better hockey. They have better structure. They have a better compete level. All the things you expect from a Flyers team.
Streit tosses to Grossman. The meeting the Bruins and Flyers had in Philadelphia was remarkable for Philly's lack of compete level. A 6-1 win by the Bruins on the 25th of January. But a much different story since the Olympic break for Philadelphia. Soderberg breaks up the play on the left side, hits the brakes and loses Luke Schenn. Schenn recovers. Soderberg can't get the puck down the wall to Kelly. LeCavalier backs toward the penalty bench and flips it into Boychuk's corner, but it is offside.
Well, Patrice Bergeron got the better of the Bergeron-Giroux matchup in that game that the Bruins won in the shootout. He's able to shake the back check to Giroux here, the little give and go with Riley Smith, and nearly able to kick that puck into a shooting position. But a good recovery by Streit to close the gap. But had that puck gotten to the stick, he probably would have got a shot away.
And an example of Streit, not a physical player, but a real smart one. Just making enough body contact so that Bergeron didn't have that extra tenth of a second to try to settle the puck, flatten it, and get off the shot he wanted.
Well, if you don't have one, you better have the other.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you find a guy like Raymond Bourque who has them both, and that's why there's a plaque with his name on it in Toronto. Got a hand pass against Philadelphia. Faceoff is going to come back into the neutral zone.
Well, limited tickets are available now for round one of the 2014 Boston Bruins playoffs presented by America's Compounding Center. Can't find the tickets you want? You can be the first to know if additional playoff tickets become available when you sign up to get last-minute ticket alerts by email at bostonbruins.com/ticket alerts.
Raffl, Ronaldo, and Adam Hall. Hall will long be remembered in this building for scoring for Tampa Bay 13 seconds into Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final in 2011. Ronaldo puts a bang on Krug. Campbell over to Paille. The save by Emery. Paille swivels it through the crease. Mazzaro's in front. Campbell, it trickles just wide. Luke Schenn tosses it right to Paille. A little bit of a hasty move by Schenn, but Andrew McDonald rescues the puck. Ronaldo to Hall working the wing. Smith puts the body on him. Rask sticks the puck to the near board. Paille pulls it back against the flow. Philadelphia changes out. 5.5 to go in the first. Bartkowski over to Boychuk. Boychuk goes north and south. Coburn steps in front of Lucic and picks off the puck. Boychuk trickles it down the wall. It won't go for icing. Timonen and Eriksson on a long skate for both. Lucic flips it back to the hash marks, but Voracek has it. Tape to tape cross ice for Couturier. Couturier lifts it into Krejci's body. The play's offside of the Boston line. 5:02 to go in the first. Bruins and Flyers at TD Garden in a matinee.
Talking about Philadelphia Flyers hockey, this is what you look for. Ronaldo in on the body contact, forcing Krug to move the puck. The Bruins, though, able to create something off the rush. Paille with a pretty good opportunity. Emery makes the save, and it looked a little awkward, the save that he made. And when that puck came free, Mazzaros was trying to jump on the puck, and there's Ronaldo again, finishing his hit.
Ronaldo, a 6th-round pick. 178th overall in 2008. The Flyers were hoping he'd still be there when they used the pick on him. Certainly not the Hall of Fame pedigree, but he's got the compete level that is the marker of these difficult to play against Eastern teams like Boston or Philadelphia. Matt Reed to Couturier, center circle. Ronaldo with the swipe to get it in deep. Philadelphia changes out. And Ronaldo and Marchand have a collision. Ronaldo takes the last swipe at Marchand's legs.
Marchand got him with a nice high stick, too.
Krejci over the line, has Eriksson in the slot. The shot save, Emery, juicy rebound, rattles around pinballs. Eriksson sprays it loose. Krejci scores! David Krejci with his first goal in 17 games, ending the longest drought of his season, and Boston draws first blood.
Well, the Bruins able to work the puck through the neutral zone in order to get some kind of attack coming across the blue line. Good puck movement, get to open space. That's just a basic give and go. Krejci and Chara, and then Krejci with that little bit of east-west game coming across the blue line. able to create that back diagonal to Louis Eriksson right down the middle. That's the first good chance. Lucic gets to the front of the net, kind of keeps the play alive. You got 3 Flyers in the neighborhood, but nobody eliminating either Eriksson or David Krejci. They couldn't locate the puck. Boston Bruins do. Eriksson's second shot was knocked down by Emery, but there was David Krejci.
Voracek waits for the puck to slide forward to him. Cuts back through the seam. Giroux to Hartnell. The drive, a shoulder save. Rask the rebound. Blocked down. Eriksson getting in the way of Voracek's chance from the weak side circle.
Timely stops. Most timely right there. Bruins take the 1-0 lead. Real good opportunity for Hartnell on a nice feed from Giroux.
Lucic digs the puck out of the pile on the boards. Coburn, head up, takes the space. From the spoke B, drives one on Rask. Chara paired with Hamilton. The puck scoots over Hamilton's stick. Braden Shen tries to get it deep. LeCavalier the quick stick, but Chara's in the passing lane before Simmons can get the puck. Luke Shen keeps it alive. Wayne Simmons scoots off the corner boards. Luke Shen's wrist shot knocked down, never gets to Rask. And then Chara blocks the second chance shot from Braden Shen. It's hops past Braden Shen. Simmons on the wall. Kelly gives him a bump. Gets the puck forward to Eriksson. He hoists it high in the air. Soderberg follows. Kelly's shot scoots wide on the glove side post of Ray Emery. Braden Shen up in front of the penalty bench doors. Thornton stops his progress. Soderberg tries to pull it middle. The puck won't cooperate. Boychuk hammers one toward goal. It slows down off the skate of McDonald, and Emery clamps down on it with 2.5 to go in the opening period.
Interesting play by Kyle Soderberg. When this puck is up in the air, number one, you got to stay on side, but he's almost just kind of running a clear-out pad. He's going to get his stick in the action. He's just trying to knock sticks away and leave that puck because he knows he has Kelly coming right in behind him and leads to a pretty good shot.
Pretty intelligent play. You know, what do they call it in the NFL? It's a penalty for face guarding, right? You know, it's like you can't make the play on the pass, so you just get your hands in the guy's face. Well, not exactly that, but Eriksson was clearly playing the reaction rather than the puck. Rather, Soderberg. Eriksson and Lucic the assists on David Krejci's goal, his 17th of the season. Paille quickly to the end boards, turning between the wall and Luke Shen. Thornton chips it toward the corner. Paille sprints to it, wins the puck, finds Campbell. His drive tip never gets through. And the Flyers clear. The Bruins have found their skating legs. Paille redirects the puck in deep. Riley Smith pursues. Puts the bump on Streit. Now Grossman back to his defensive pair. Marchand turns the goal and gives Streit a pretty good whack. Voracek cuts back, gets around Bergeron, but cannot connect with Giroux. Chara behind his own goal. Tries to rattle it over to Hamilton. Hartnell's in the way. He A-frames for space and chucks it to the other corner. Streit the defenseman forward to the goal line. Low for Hartnell, high slide. Grossman's snapshot goes off the glass. Chara to Hamilton up the wall. Smith can't get it past Grossman. Hamilton hammers it off the boards, and Hartnell drills Hamilton and knocks him backward off balance. Giroux tries to pull it middle, but the Bruins control. Smith to Marchand. The Bruins in the middle of a change. Marchand leaves the puck behind as he confronts Coburn. Final minute of the first period. Bruins have got to trim things up in the final 60 seconds of periods. They have been vulnerable close to the ends. Force trivia question. Who's the last Bruin before Jarome Iginla did it this season to score 30 goals in the regular season? Visit NESN.com/theForce for the answer. Enter to win a $50 gift certificate that can be used at the Force Restaurant and Sports Bar in Boston, Quincy, or Norwell. Couturier and Kelly on the face-off, and Kelly moves to the boards to win the puck. Comes wing to wing to Eriksson. Eriksson drops it off for Krejci. Krejci off Eriksson. Skate saved by Emery. And he fungles it to the corner. The Bruins creating traffic and getting chances at Ray Emery's end of the ice.
I think Louis Eriksson actually got a shot away there,
yep.
Jack. After that puck was in his feet, the footwork, and then the release at the very end, and had Emery moving in the wrong direction.
He's got amazing hands. but it starts with his footwork. He puts himself in position to have that relaxed upper body.
And it was a nice play by Kelly off the faceoff in order to put that play in motion through center ice.
Lucic turns the puck away from Simmons. The pass comes off the stick of Couturier. Boychuk indirect, a billiard shot, and Eriksson one-hands it, almost gets it across to Krejci. Pretty good wrestling match between McDonald and Krejci as the siren sounds to end the first. And the Bruins, after being outplayed for the first few minutes, will take a 1-0 lead into the room.
Yeah, well, we showed you a couple of times why they were. Ronaldo with a big hit on Lucic to start the game. The early power play. It took the Bruins a little while to find the rhythm of their game after the first 5 minutes when they were in their own zone, but then they started to level the ice a little.
With the puck in the Boston end of the ice. Those numbers rival the Bruins' worst in both categories all season long, and it says something about the timely saves by Tuukka Rask that the Bruins come out of the first period with a 1-0 lead. Patrice Bergeron on the backhand low for Marchand. Marchand has Smith in front, but Grossman blocks the pass. Hartnell, hard backhand off the glass. Chara taps it down low, and the Bruins go to work. Marchand dragging it away from Streit. Smith for Bergeron! Oh, he couldn't get it underneath Streit. Almost too much time.
Not almost. Too much time. Would have covered it. Too many options for Bergeron. A little mishandle initially, and then just too much time. And when that happens, you get a little paralysis.
I've had a few vapor locks in my brain, so maybe I do have something in common with Patrice Bergeron once.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that'd be about it. Oh, good play. Triangle down low. This line is, especially when you get Bergeron and Marchand at the tops of their games. They've been together for a while. You had Riley Smith, the 7-player award winner, has had an outstanding year playing on that line. And even though the goals aren't there, he continues to play well enough on that threesome that expect them to be together once the playoffs start.
Phenomenal shift for Zach Ronaldo as first he goes at Chara and then he gets a turnaround shot. Ronaldo doing what he does, energizing the Flyers and being a royal pain to the Bruins. Hamilton out of the Boston zone. It springs off Marchand's stick. Coburn races down to the corner, sets up, looks in front for Couturier, but Chara intercepts. Chara strokes the backhand down into the corner, and the Flyers see the Bruins change out.
Yeah, just the size of the skates on Zdeno Chara in the way on that play.
Bartkowski tips Couturier down in the corner. Krejci the tap for Lucic. Draws it back for Boychuk, the big wide triangle. Boychuk spins the puck to the opposite corner. Luke Schenn goes into the boards. Lucic puts the hit on him. Braden Schenn takes the puck, goes indirect for Simmons. A good read from Boychuk. Gets it loose to Eriksson. He flicks it on Emery, and the rebound bounces past Lucic to the wall. Back to Krejci at the point. Along the line to Bartkowski. The wrist shot goes off the end boards. Luke Schenn hacks it to the far side. Good zone time for the Bruins. Here's Eriksson going to work. Tosses the beanbag over Braden Schenn's stick. Lucic to Krejci. Double deflection and a save by Emery as Eriksson's in the mix again. Krejci along the line. Krejci has room, goes to the backhand for Eriksson off the skate of McDonald. Some marvelous stuff from this line as Eriksson finds a spot while Iginla gets the day off.
Two real good pinches on the right side by Johnny Boychuk to keep that pressure on as well.
Lecavalier slings it around wide. Boychuk knows the hit is coming. He just gets rid of the puck, dumps it forward as Rosehill unloaded. Not too much damage to Boychuk there. Kelly holds it up short of the line. Sky high. It bounces in front of the Boston bench. Rosehill sandwiched by Soderberg and Caron. Soderberg over the line to Caron, who was straddling the line, so he was onside. Streit taps the backhand over to Adam Hall in the near corner. Caron after the puck. Mazzaros goes D to D to Krug, who makes the quick pivot and flips it down into the corner. Streit in front of his own goal. It comes off Raffles' skates. Mazzaros throws it in deep again. The Campbell line comes onto the ice for Boston. Adam Hall takes a hit from Thornton, who came all the way across after hopping over the boards. Mazzaros draws Hartnell, goes indirect for Thornton. Coburn breaks it up, but Hartnell's still inside the zone, and it's offside.
Well, the Krejci line really getting some great opportunities. But when you're in position as a forward, as Krejci is right there, that allows Johnny Boychuk to pinch down. Now you keep the play below the tops of the circles. A nice little redirect on the one-timer by Krejci by Louis Eriksson. Bartkowski stands in on the left side. That allows this move here by David Krejci. McDonald does just enough to bother Lucic, and then as that play continued on, Boychuk had a second pinch coming down the wall.
Hamilton cannot get the pass through Voracek, who's been pretty effective this afternoon. Thornton nudges it forward for Campbell. Campbell short of the line. Snaps the puck to Coburn's corner. Engages one hand's in front, and Giroux has to ice the puck.
Your 2013 World Series champion Boston Red Sox are back in season. Be sure to come back to NESN tonight at 6 for the Red Sox pregame shows as they get you ready for Game 2 of the series with Milwaukee. First pitch is at 7:10.
Happy 50th anniversary, Nick and Marilyn Zachello. We love teasing your son Brian, who's our producer here for Boston Bruins Hockey on NESN, but what a marvelous lifetime milestone.
Call them both.
Getting at least one interference call here. But Nick and Marilyn Zachello, many, many more happy years to come for both of you, we hope. What a marvelous thing, a 50th anniversary.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the Zachellos when I said call them both.
It's funny because Brian was from the truck.
Well, the Bruins are trying to work a little screen here. Bergeron and Timonen, and just enough contact by Bergeron, the left side of his body, but come on, you got to call them both in that situation. That is an absolute flop embellishment.
So the Boston forward who has the most shorthanded time on ice per game, Patrice Bergeron, is in the box. He's averaging 2 minutes of shorthanded time on ice per game.
Tried real hard last game not to go after the officials in Toronto, Jack. They just did not have a good night, but it doesn't do anybody any benefit to rip officials from the broadcast booth. But you got to make the call there. That's just an embellishment by team. And if you want to call Bergeron, get 44 in white and orange as well and black.
Timonen's pass deflects. Voracek scoots it past Chara. Boychuk looks for the big hip check, and Voracek stops. Now Boychuk looks to clean out Simmons. The puck bounces into the slot. Eriksson can't hammer it past Timonen. Voracek wing to wing. Giroux wires it in, but Rask quickly out of his goal. Stops the puck along the end boards. Chara scrapes the puck along, goes through the seam to Eriksson. Eriksson up into the neutral zone, and he'll just spank it in deep. The Bruins will change out all 4 penalty killers.
Simmons had a chance to make a play on the puck, but 33 was coming strong.
Voracek, the serpentine route, and then gets it over to Giroux. Gets the puck in deep again. Bartkowski pulls it back. Braden Shen intercepts. Giroux spins the puck through the corner. Andrew McDonald over to Mark Streit. How come the Islanders can't get players like that?
McDonald to Streit?
Exactly. Andrew McDonald. Streit at the top of the circle. Cha-ching. Too expensive, that's why. McDonald's drive bounces off Braden Shen, goes to Giroux. Back to McDonald. Here's Streit holding the puck. Goes back to Andrew McDonald, top of the umbrella. Giroux, a great shooter. Takes it, but it's off Hamilton's skate. The Bruins doing a good job getting in Giroux's way so far today. Dougie Hamilton takes the feed and just tosses it in deep.
Well, the Flyers had a pretty effective triangle or on top of the umbrella, if you want to call it, with McDonald, Streit, and Giroux, but the Bruins did a terrific job with their positioning to take away one-timers, shots from straight on or from the flank.
Ronaldo's hard backhand through the slot. McDonald's one-timer off the bodies of Mazzaros and Braden Shen. Bergeron's out of the box. The long pass ahead for Marchand does not connect. Oh, wow. Streit was closer to the puck, but Bergeron was past the dots. That's a blown call on hybrid icing right there. That's such a screwy rule.
Well, the Bruins misconnect. It's after a real strong, good penalty kill. Bergeron comes out of the box.
Not even close.
He wins the race to the dots, but per letter of the law, that should be not an icing call, just as there should have been a penalty on Timonen. So Bruins battling more than just the Flyers right now.
But with a 1-0 lead. Matt Reed and Torrey Krug on the far boards. Puck drops down in the corner. Matt Reed finds it. Uses a pick from Ronaldo. That's not interference. Grossman's snapshot goes wide. Krug. Coburn can't drag it along off the backhand. It's Marchand and Krejci off to the races. Bergeron coming late. Bergeron's drive smokes off the high glass. Krug wiggles it opposite corner. Couturier turns the puck forward for Ronaldo. 2-on-1 with Reed against Mazzaros. Saucer pass and it won't land flat for Ronaldo. Bergeron in his own zone hammers it cross ice. Marchand takes it as the play gets a little gappy here and it opens up. Marchand cross ice. Boychuk the bomb. Blocker saved by Emery to the near boards. And end to end they go at TD Garden. Brayden Schenn with Simmons ahead. The redirection save. Rebound off the outside of the post and wide. Luke Schenn with the blast. Knocked down. Simmons puts the body on Bartkowski. It's Bruins Flyers in a matinee in Boston. What a terrific game we got. Simmons at the hash mark. Saved by Rask. Here's Lucic. Gives it over to Krejci. Lucic and Riley Smith forming the triangle. Krejci a little wiggle and a waggle east to west to buy some time. Lucic's pass doesn't connect. There's Eriksson on the far side poking it to Krejci to Lucic. The one-timer goes wide. Hamilton at the hash marks. Into the middle to Lucic. Lucic through the seam. Chara's blast leaves a dent in the glass. Hamilton chips it through the corner. Krejci picks it up on the backhand. Goes to the cycle. Hamilton backpedals to the middle of the line. The wrist shot sails high off the glass. Lucic unopposed spins it to Chara, the defenseman forward of the goal line. Now it's Eriksson tapping back to the rotating Soderberg. Over to Hamilton on the near side. Excellent zone time for the Bruins with a long change for the Flyers. Lucic into the middle. McDonald running out of gas. Has trouble from Eriksson. Schenn can't get it out of the zone. Hamilton's attempt to pass it deep goes off a Flyers stick up and out. Wayne Simmons getting the centering feed from Schenn, but access denied.
Group sitting in Patrice Bergeron's box for the game this afternoon. Part of Patrice's pals, a group of teenage boys from the Jimmy Fund, are in attendance. They arrived at the game early, had a tour of TD Garden. They're going to catch some hockey and meet some of the players afterwards. And then later on, they're going to head over to the North End for dinner and dessert at Mike's Pastry.
And you know, Jamie, that's what we're talking about with this Boston Bruins organization. Top to bottom, on and off the ice. The achievement of the group by such a wide margin supersedes individual glory. Every game Bergeron hosts kids, and I'm sure he's going to be a little upset that we're talking about this now, but every game Bergeron hosts kids in his suite. And whether Bergeron scores the game-winning goal in overtime or if the Bruins lose and play badly, he is the same guy after the game. After his decompression in the dressing room, he goes out there and he stays until the last kid leaves with a smile.
Yeah, he's that same guy. That same guy
Yeah.
that everybody really admires, no matter the situation.
Kelly into the middle of the zone. Soderberg spins it to the far side. Caron chops it through the seam. Now Adam Hall in a race against Chris Kelly. Kelly shortens the space and almost takes the puck away. Kelly is so amazing at reading the player that he's descending upon. Doesn't usually lay a guy out with a big check, but he probably wins about 70% of those puck battles along the wall.
Well, first of all, he takes real good angles, number one, and he forces the puck carrier to go where he doesn't want to go.
Here's a pass back to Paille, the drive. Look for an exit wound in Ray Emery's body.
A good forward check. Gregory Campbell creating the turnover, trying to make a play to that high slot. Not sure if he intended for this puck to go all the way to Paille. But again, good forward check, win the puck battle, trying to make a play. I think he was looking for Thornton in the slot, but it ends up going right to Paille. Emery's got to get out square and handle it.
Giroux and Campbell. Campbell wins it cleanly back to Hamilton. He wheels it through the corner. Luke Schenn up the wall. Voracek, a little hop step deflection. Hartnell to Giroux. Back to Hartnell, opening up space, but the pass behind, and Chara picks it off.
Good back check by Paille. Even though the Flyers felt like they had something coming through center ice, it was a 2-on-2, and Paille, stride for stride, with Giroux.
Thornton caves in Andrew McDonald. Schenn cross ice. Hartnell has a little space. Voracek the one-timer, but Chara takes his space away. Hamilton taps it to space. 3-on-2 up ice. Thornton the triangle with Campbell coming late. Thornton in front for Hamilton. The backhand deflection goes off high glass. Hartnell finishes his check and Thornton picks him off, throws an elbow. Thornton drops a glove. Hartnell has his glued to his palms. Must have been an equipment malfunction. Chara spins the puck around through the corner. Bruins Flyers matinee on a Saturday. What's better than this? LeCavalier, some magical work to get the puck into the Boston zone. Not a lot of space and a couple of bumps, but he maintained possession. Smith pirouettes off the wall. The backhand pass past Bergeron. Bergeron's thinking about a short track speed skating career.
Just a little toe pick. 3-on-2 for Boston. They got a pretty good opportunity. It was Thornton that made the play, Dougie Hamilton. And as this play continued on, Thornton going right after Hartnell. Hartnell's had a couple of borderline hits here this afternoon, and certainly Sean Thornton has taken notice of that. Little challenge there that was not answered.
Scott Hartnell's in his 13th season, and he's spent probably about 12 and a half of that on the borderline. Brayden Schenn, the hard wrist shot, and Tuukka Rask.
Part of what makes him effective.
30-second break here. The Berkshire Bank exciting rewind coming up. David Krejci's first period pinball goal. Every month, Berkshire Bank is giving away a Kindle Fire HD. Plus, at the end of the season, which is pretty soon, Berkshire Bank will assist one lucky winner with their mortgage for a year. All you need to do is vote for your favorite exciting rewind. So you better vote soon. Go to NESN.com/Berkshire Bank to enter. Berkshire Bank, life is exciting. Let them help with your mortgage for a year. You want the Jeep Cherokee? You should have voted for the 7th player. You can't win the lottery unless you enter. Bergeron and Grossman to the end wall. Streit hoists the backhand up. Bartkowski gloves it down, wheels it to the outside. Streit's pass does not connect with Simmons. Boychuk turns away from Simmons, finds Bergeron 8 feet away. He goes wing to wing to Smith. Marchand cutting down the middle. Smith looks for Bergeron, and a good back check by Brayden Schenn. Schenn goes right up the wall. Bartkowski holding off Simmons, and that goes for icing.
A little contact away from the play on Marchand, I believe by Grossman, and no call there. Boston almost had a 3-on-2. It was a pretty good effort by the Flyers to get back on Bergeron to make it more of a 3-on-3, and that pretty much limited what Riley Smith could do with the puck on the left side.
Those guys like Marchand, and Ronaldo, and Hartnell, sort of like a Cub Scout troop after they eat about 2 dozen donuts. Send them outside. Let them run off the sugar fix. You get them inside the boards, and sometimes wacky stuff happens.
Spoken like a troop leader at one time, Jack.
Exactly. You got that straight. Oh, you can imagine the chatter on the talkback from the truck. They are just having comedy hour down there. All right, here's Eriksson in the corner. Works it away from Couturier. Krug spoons it back to the corner. Lucic shielding from Streit. Lucic tries to go the diagonal. Philadelphia's done an excellent job getting sticks and seams. Here's Ronaldo. Pulls up the wrist shot out of Rask's glove, loose in front, and Lucic on the back check gets it to the wall and out.
Gilt's a great motivator. He tried to pass the puck through 2 people on a back diagonal in the offensive zone. Not a good decision.
Now Krug on the wrong side of the puck looking for a drop pass. It wasn't there. Couturier, Krejci rotating back, stops the rush at the Boston blue line. Couturier throws the puck down the wall. Reed cuts against Mazaros, who reaches and taps to Krug. Krug flips the backhand up. It's off the gloves of Voracek. Eriksson rattles it around and Voracek skates. Krug takes possession. Broken stick, a gift to Voracek. What a save by Rask. Penalty coming here. The quick release by Hartnell in front. Possession for Boston. And the Bruins will be shorthanded once again. Torrey Krug's stick exploding on him. And Tuukka Rask with a brilliant save.
You got to track the puck. You got to expect turnovers at times. And boy, do you have to be alert to be a goaltender. And Tuukka Rask deep in his net. Patience, allowing the play to come to him. I mean, you would relax right here. It's just simple puck possession play, and all of a sudden the puck's on top of you. Voracek, pretty good offensive guy with some real good moves in tight. He tried to go forehand. Broken stick by Krug. Alert Voracek. What a stop by Rask along the goal line. Able to get that right pad in the perfect position.
And the call is playing with a broken stick. A rarely made call.
Well, that means the referee had to see him playing with the stick prior to that errant pass, if you will.
And, you know, legitimate call, but Krug, with the lack of feel that one has with a composite stick, or so I'm told, I never played with one, might not have known that it was broken.
You could have a wood stick too, and it could happen in that instance as well.
Giroux. Marchand intercepts the league leader in shorthanded goals with an off-wing break and a save by Emery. Marchand to Boychuk the bomb, saved by Emery. 2 shots on goal for Boston during Philadelphia's power play. Marchand, a 1-29er. One team loves him. Here's Giroux on a solo rush. Boychuk turns him out of the slot. Kimmo Timonen will run the power play from the blue line. Gets it back from Voracek and whips it back to him. The left shot on the right side. Voracek taps back to Timonen. Giroux on the far side of the ice. Voracek maneuvers high slot. Campbell tries to clamp down the long shot. Simmons on the doorstep, and Rask makes a big save with the right pad down. Voracek waiting for the double bounce pass to come over to him. Slings it off the end boards. Giroux digs down for it. Paille stops him. Giroux finds it. Timonen alone at the blue line. To Voracek across through the seam to Giroux. He taps it to the end boards. Chara gets the body on Giroux. Paille in a race for the puck. Absorbs the hit from Hartnell. Goes down with the puck underneath him. Chara shoves it right to Streit. Streit to Voracek. It rattles off Campbell. The rebound. Rask diving as Hartnell couldn't pull it under the bar. Voracek, middle of the line, gets it back from Streit. Streit tees up. He's got Giroux far side. Poised for the one-timer. Giroux handles the puck. Hartnell high slot. Simmons on the doorstep. Streit through the screen off the end boards, and Simmons scores on the power play. It's tied 1-1.
Simmons real good in and around the net. We highlighted an opportunity he had on an earlier power play back in the first period where he's along the goal line. He tries to turn around Rask makes the save on that, but he's going to get the benefit of the lively backboards, the drive that misses the net, but it quickly comes out. And all Rask can do is plan for a one-timer on the backhand in order to be repositioned. But Simmons was able to push that puck closer to the goal line to create a better angle. And he's able to slip it in on that right past the short post, inside the wide post to tie the hockey game.
Not much Torrey Krug could do about it. Krug in the box with the penalty for playing with a broken stick. And so it's 1-1 with 5 minutes to go in the second period. Hamilton throws the shoulder into Matt Reed. Coburn and Krejci on the end boards. Krejci uses body position, finds Lucic. He scores! 19 seconds! Bam! That's an answer, and the Bruins lead 2-1.
An absolute bomb on a one-timer from the best area of the ice to score a goal if you're going to be in the slot, middle of the ice. Good pinch down the wall. Hamilton, good puck pursuit. Win the puck battle by David Krejci. Get open in the high slot. One of the best things you can do if you're the Bruins and Ronaldo's on the ice, because he's been an effective guy, is keep putting minuses up next to his name. And although he's not at fault, you definitely give a guy like that a look when you score a goal like that. Lucic with a bomb. Another great play by David Krejci, but it was the pinch down, Jack, by Dougie Hamilton that allows this play to stay in the offensive zone.
Simmons and Kelly jousting before the drop. Barkowski, the tight turn around his goal. Flips it out to Caron. Wing to wing to Kelly through the seam to Soderberg! And a save by Emery! Soderberg getting the leverage and elevating the forehand, but Emery makes a big stop to keep the Bruins from a tidal wave-like surge. Milan Lucic with his 23rd of the season, and the Bruins are right back on top.
Well, after the Flyers tie it at 1, the Bruins come right back in quick fashion. Good decision right here. Dougie Hamilton pinch down the wall. Why? Because you have a forward, Lucic, rotating back to the point. This is how the Bruins work in conjunction, in tandem. And then you got 4 Flyers on one side of the ice in this situation, and that's going to allow this guy here to find open space in the high slot, Milan Lucic. The Flyers don't protect the house. They get mesmerized by the puck, and they're too late to get back in position. That's a mistake the Bruins take advantage of, but put in motion by a good pinching defenseman.
No, Jarome Iginla is not going to be Wally Pipp, but all 3 players on the Krejci line, with Eriksson in Iginla's normal spot, have multi-point games. There's a break for Giroux, but Chara uses the radar sweep. Hamilton shoulder to shoulder with Hartnell. Giroux chops it middle. Chara can't settle it down. Second chance, gets it off Voracek's blade.
You're out there against Giroux. You see him moving through the neutral zone. You got to have a tighter gap in the middle of the ice. He found an open seam between Hamilton and Chara, but Chara with the long reach able to recover.
If you were with us for the Bruins-Flyers game in Philadelphia, you might have heard open disappointment from our voices, because usually when these 2 teams get together, it is 60 minutes of adrenaline. And so it is this afternoon at TD Garden. Coburn cross ice. Rosehill chops at Mazzaros. They go to the end boards. Raffl brings it back to Coburn, moves to the middle of the blue line. McDonald's wrist shot off the pile in front. Raffl picks it up, shields it from Krug. Raffl turns it low. The stuff by Rosehill. Jay Rosehill scores once in a blue moon. It's his second of the season, his first in 22 games. It's 2-2.
Well, with Kevin Miller out of the lineup today, you're going to get a pair on the back end of Mazzaros and Krug, and they just got overmatched there on this shift. Nice little move. Rask missed on the poke check. Overhead view with a nice move by Rosehill. That's pretty creative for a guy known more for what we saw earlier in the game in the bout with Thornton. But, Miller would be a guy that's in a situation that would probably be involved in a matchup against that type of player, which the Bruins didn't have in that situation. And the Flyers get the better of the physical play down low.
Bartkowski in front of the penalty bench. The puck rolls past Luke Schenn. Vinny Lecavalier whips it around through both corners. Boychuk and Braden Schenn on the far side. Boychuk shielding the puck so Soderberg can pick it up. Bartkowski, Kelly, cross ice for Caron, kicks to the stick. Soderberg going middle. The saucer pass lands well beyond Soderberg's reach. Centering attempt rattles around. Simmons finds it. Lecavalier filling in the middle. Soderberg on the back check off Bartkowski's stick. Soderberg indirect for Kelly. The diagonal for Caron. Solo into the attacking zone as the Bruins want a line change.
Missed opportunity. What a well-executed play by the Bruins. Wing to wing through the neutral zone, but Caron just couldn't find Soderberg.
Good read from Smith on the high diagonal, but he can't carry it into the attacking zone. Hartnell backhands it to the high slot looking for Giroux. Hartnell hammers it middle. Chara knocks it down. Riley Smith steps backward, makes a self-pass around Hartnell, gains the line. He's got Marchand far side, can't go through Streit. Streit with a poke check to break up a nice rush by Riley Smith. Bergeron digging on the wall, now centers. It scoots behind Marchand. He swims around Hartnell. Marchand brings it back to Hamilton. He's got Chara tapping the stick for the puck, throws it tippable in front, but the Bruins can't redirect. Giroux up to the red line, wrists it in off the end boards, lively bounce. Voracek hits the Jets, loses Chara, can't center past Hamilton. Thornton locks up with Hartnell far side. It tumbles back to Timonen, and he's got a control in the neutral zone. Boston gets a change. Voracek gets a piece of the puck to negate icing. Philly sends 2 deep on the forecheck. Chara straight ahead for Campbell. Campbell bounces it for Paille. Paille looks at Thornton crashing the net. Can't whip it through Andrew McDonald. Campbell spins around. Reed will take the space. Reed, the backhand off of Paille. Deflects right to Mazzaros. Over to Krug. Quickly back through the neutral zone. Campbell a touch on the puck. Andrew McDonald takes it. Braden Coburn up the middle for Couturier. Leads Ronaldo on his off wing. The left shot on the right side. Right back through the middle for the cutting Reed. Reed off the end boards. Mazzaros stabs it past Couturier. But there's Ronaldo. Final minute of the second period. Luke Schenn, the defenseman, takes it to the end boards. The Bruins in that final minute of a period where they've been a little sloppy and made mental mistakes of late. Campbell bouncing it around off a couple of legs. Ronaldo A-framing. Campbell tries to shove him down, but Ronaldo stays on his skates. Couturier wrists it back to Luke Schenn along the blue line to Streit. Streit draws Sean Thornton off Thornton's skates, taps it to space. Paille ahead of Thornton. 30 seconds to go in the period, plenty of time. Thornton, the no-angle shot. Emery bats it right back to the corner. Paille, here's Boychuk keeping it in. Wrists it around. 20 seconds to go in the period. The stop-start from Krejci. Krejci riding a 2-point day already, trying to lose Luke Schenn. Middle of the line, Boychuk's bomb goes off the stick of Reed in front. Krejci back to Bartkowski, the drive save, rebound Eriksson. The second chance, and Emery hangs on. Luke Schenn bumped Lucic into Emery, and Lucic did his best not to make too much contact. Schenn barked at him, and Lucic said, "Why?"
Pretty good effort actually back in the defensive zone. The shot block, Paille and Thornton worked their magic up the ice, and David Krejci comes on, and he's able to make a couple of plays. Real good drive by Boychuk on one side, Bartkowski on the other. Rebound chance, Louis Eriksson getting to the front of the net. Strong final shift by Boston. You talk about the final minutes, and those are the things you talk about, those are the things you address, and that's the result you're looking for.
Traction. Listening. Matt Reed helped down the tunnel as the final seconds of the second period click down. There's going to be one more face-off here. They'll double check the clock to make sure they've got the timing right. Jay Rosehill on Craig Berube's bench. Rosehill coming into this season, 262 penalty minutes in 83 NHL games. So not known so much for his scoring touch, to which Brick alluded, but guy made a nice move to beat Rask to tie this thing up. Boychuk in the shooter's spot, Bergeron to take the draw. And they're going to drop it with 0.6 of a second to go, saying it was an accurate clocking. Bergeron tries to go straight ahead. The siren sounds before Boychuk makes contact, and Hall and Marchand have a little exchange. It's a Flyers-Bruins matinee. Doesn't get much better than this, Brick.
Yeah, and from the Bruins' perspective, with where they are and what they have to play for, you want to play competitive games. And they're certainly getting one against the Flyers. They haven't played the Floridas in
the edge in that advantage. They were coming at us pretty good. I think we pushed our way back in the second period, and we need to continue to do that even more in the third now.
Thanks, Dougie. Good luck in the third period.
Thanks, Andy.
Now the pushback. Claude Julien's Bruins, 99 third period goals. And the Flyers, it is worth repeating, second in the NHL, only behind Boston with 85. Game summary brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Philadelphia has 4:01 of attacking zone time on the power play, including a power play goal. At even strength, the Bruins have had more attacking zone time than Philadelphia. So, Brick, maybe it's those things you've been talking about. Keep it simple, have good habits, get the puck in deep, and get the forecheck to work.
Yeah, think about what you were able to accomplish in the third period in Toronto the other night when you did simplify.
Riley Smith to Dougie Hamilton. Hamilton intentionally wide. Marchand picks it up. The backhand for Bergeron. Might have hit the post on the way past. Bergeron lifting the stick as Giroux tries to wrap around, and Emery makes the stop. And Marchand and Streit are jabbing and jousting with one another. We're 30 seconds into the third period, and Martha, the Bond's on fire.
Giroux's in coverage with Bergeron, and Bergeron's going to beat him not once but twice. Giroux gets just enough of the stick of Bergeron right there to prevent the real good shot, but it's still an opportunity. And then it's a wraparound opportunity again. Bergeron in one-on-one coverage with Giroux. Good start to the third by the Bergeron line.
Soderberg's had a couple of good chances today. He glides in for the face-off against Adam Hall in the Philadelphia zone. Hall wins it back to Coburn to Tiemann, who takes the hit to move the puck to Reed. who has returned to action after limping down the tunnel with help in the closing moments of the second. Reed cross ice off the stick of Sean Couturier. Mazzaros taps it around through the corner. Let's go Bruins, a chant from the 17,565. Wayne Simmonds kicks to the stick, maneuvers around the slot, wheels, fires it off his teammate Brayden Schenn. Mazzaros' pass behind Caron. Simmonds can't do anything with it. It's the last time the Bruins will wear their men in black third uniform set this year. They are 8-1-2 when wearing these uniforms. Bartkowski with a hard hit flattens Brayden Schenn on the end board. Soderberg gets angled off on Lecavalier's check. Simmonds' shot off Boychuk's stick goes wide. Lucic finding Eriksson in a lot of space with Philly in the middle of a change. Eriksson takes the space. Krejci driving the net. Here's Boychuk to Bartkowski. Saved by Emery. Simmonds flips the puck through the neutral zone. Boychuk indirect up to Eriksson. Krejci can't drag it along. Eriksson, the lateral tap. Mazzaros' wrist shot off Couturier hits the referee, Jean Hebert. Reed slings it back to Coburn. He goes north and south to Ronaldo. Couturier looking slot for the cutting Reed, but it isn't there. Mazzaros breaking it up, and the Bruins dump out and change.
That last chance the Bruins had, they had both defensemen activated. Boychuk, Bartkowski. It all started with a nice backhand feed from deep in the defensive zone. Lucic to Eriksson.
Paille has Thornton going middle. The flip shot saved by Emery. Jamie?
Jack, we have our NESN Mobile Bruins poll. In honor of the Broad Street Bullies in town, who is your favorite Rocky villain? Reply A for Apollo Creed, B for Ivan Drago, C for Clubber Lang, or D for Hulk Thunderlips Hogan. Text your answer vote to 536-536. Message the data rates may apply. Text help for info and visit NESN.com/terms for terms and conditions and a privacy policy.
Gotta go with Apollo Creed. Come on.
Oh, they ended up being real good friends.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I don't think the Cold War is over.
Boychuk's blast deflects, and Emery makes the stop. Paille's stick a casualty of that Johnny Rocket. Campbell swipes at the puck and knocks it off Andrew McDonald's stick. Forechecking pressure. Thornton follows up to keep the puck in the attacking zone. Luke Schenn hoists it out to the neutral zone. Bartkowski over to Boychuk, follows through past the red line, no icing. It skitters around and hops over to Bartkowski, trickles it through the slot. Paille shot an inch and a half wide of the post. Daniel Paille had the puck come to him, and he almost found the corner. Giroux shields the puck, sends it right through the slot. Giroux hacks it right back and hits Campbell in the shoulder. Hamilton, Hartnell tries to cave him in, gets it to Giroux. The shot saved by Rask. Not too many options, so Giroux just decided to hurl it on Tuukka Rask, who makes the positional stop.
Yeah, well positioned is right, Jack, off that short post. A couple opportunities at the opposite end of the ice. The drive from Boychuk at the right point with a lot on it. Deflected maybe twice. The last one changing the direction in tight. Good positional stop by Emery himself. And then the opportunity for Paille as that puck comes to him. Emery's moving right to left, and he tries to go against the grain inside that far post and just misses.
Marchand pulls the puck out of the corner. The chip pass for Bergeron across. It tumbles to Smith. He settles it with Hamilton nearby. Goes indirect looking for Marchand in Braden Coburn's corner. Giroux wins the puck back of the goal around off Voracek's stick. Hartnell scrapes it back to Voracek. It's 3-on-2 up ice, but here is Bergeron to make it 3-on-3, breaking up the pass, and Marchand swoops onto it. Patrice Bergeron, if he doesn't win the Selke this year, I want to see the year somebody else had that was better. That guy is defining how you play center all 200 feet of the ice. Oh, by the way, Bergeron also riding a career high tying 10-game scoring streak. Caron walks right toward goal, and Emery makes the stop.
Great pass by Krug.
Krug goes D-to-D behind the Boston goal. Mazzaros up for Soderberg. The quick pivot. Kelly one touch to Caron. Caron, a little shake, and then he tosses to the corner. Streit holds on the backhand, swings it out wide for Simmonds. Simmonds pivots the puck for Streit, the defenseman up in the rush. Streit tumbling, whacks it to the left wing side of Boston's defensive zone. Mazzaros carefully over the line. Kelly little figure skating move to stay on side and stays on his skates. Streit taps over to Simmonds. Simmonds chugs toward the red line and tumbles it in on Rask, who makes the short hop stop. Greg Berube's Philadelphia Flyers in third place, 4 points behind the Rangers, but they have 2 games in hand on the Rangers.
Yeah, Metropolitan's still up for grabs in terms of how they're going to line up after the Pittsburgh Penguins and what the wild card's going to look like.
Louis Eriksson has Krejci busting up the left side. He one-hands the puck down into Andrew MacDonald's corner. MacDonald stabs it over to Luke Schenn around the boards. Couturier can't control. Bartkowski can't either. Couturier goes north and south. Eriksson tracking Reed back. Boychuk ahead for Eriksson. Drops it off the boards for Krejci. Reed angles Krejci off the puck. Eriksson goes down into the corner and tries to dig it away from MacDonald. Krejci off Couturier's skates, spoons it to Eriksson and then goes to goal. Krejci now in the corner, goes through the legs of Reed. Lucic in front for Krejci, it doesn't go in. Reed angles off Lucic. Lucic tries to overpower him, caves him into one knee. Krejci to Lucic. It wiggles, passes forehand, and here comes Zach Rinaldo. Rinaldo cuts it back, gives to Couturier against Boychuk, trickles wide. Leg save by Rask. Couturier disguising the shot and using Boychuk's partial screen. Bartkowski off the boards. It rattles around off Campbell. Fans thought it was offside.
It is. Delayed.
On the delay, yep. Emery taking the tap off the corner boards. Campbell goes in heavy and spins Timonen around. Hall steps on the puck, always looks awkward and usually gets a laugh, but difficult chance play. Campbell on the forecheck, takes it away from Coburn. Emery taps to the corner, but Thornton's on it. Whips it back to Mazzaros. The one-timer sails well wide off glass. Michael Raffl into the neutral zone. Carries into the Boston end, works middle against Krug. Krug gets a stick on him. Mazzaros to the far side. Campbell the stick lift, but Raffl stays with it. Now Hall in the corner, one way, then the other on Campbell. Hall off the apron of the goal. Pye one-hands the puck to Thornton. Thornton at his own line. A tumbling muffin into the Philadelphia zone. Streit holds. He goes D to D. Nicholas Grossman. Marchand steals the puck. Voracek takes it back in turn. He's got Reed middle, goes for the shot, saved by Rask. Chara calmly chips it up off glass. Marchand spins it, but it comes right to Giroux out high. Voracek, one-man cycle in the corner. Now Reed joins the cycle. Reed turns and fires, knocked down in the pile in front as Bergeron locked up with Voracek. Streit over the spoked B, almost gets it stolen by Smith. Grossman over to Streit. What an entertaining hockey game this afternoon.
Yeah, a better shift by the Flyers after the Bruins had a couple of real good looks. Krejci probably the best when he walked out of the corner.
Rask grabs the can of corn and spills it out for Dougie Hamilton. Long stretch of continuous play here. Hamilton off Simmons' stick. Soderberg to Kelly. He takes it on the off wing. Kelly flicks the forehand through the corner. Caron stays on his skates after contact. The wraparound save. Rebound Soderberg. Saved by Emery. MacDonald speeds through the corner. This guy can really go. Gives it forward to Simmonds. He's got Brayden Schenn going down the middle. Rask gets a stick on the puck. Now Boychuk up the boards for Caron. Schenn gets a piece of it. Simmonds taps it forward into the zone. Bartkowski against the grain through the seam. It's going to be icing against the Bruins. And the face-off down to Rask's end.
Now the Bruins getting the better of the opportunities here. First half of the third period. The subtleties of David Krejci's game are amazing. Able to beat his man Reed off the wall, allow Lucic to move away from the puck. It opens up a lane to the net, and he takes it. Heads up play by Kelly and Caron to get to the puck, back to the front of the net on the wraparound. Second chance opportunity, Carl Soderberg. The support by the Bruins in the offensive zone. Not just support defensively, but they have it in the offensive end as well.
Hartnell rattles one off a couple of legs. Voracek against Boychuk. Voracek slings it back to Coburn. The wrist shot off Hartnell, screening Rask back next to the post on the tumble off the end boards. And now Rask dives on it to take the face-off of the Boston end. 11.5 to go in the game. 2-2 between the Bruins and Jay Rosehill's goal. We look forward to it, fellas. The quality of body contact on both sides has been excellent.
It's fun.
Really is. Bergeron 9-4 at the faceoff dot against Couturier, and getting a little help from Krejci there. Mazzaros back of the Boston goal. Krug looks for Bergeron, decides to go up the boards for Krejci. Krejci spins into a seam. Krejci through Coburn, but Coburn reaches back and gets the puck. Krejci holds it to hash marks, slings it to Krug. Krug, Cox fires, blocked down right in front of him. Mazzaros on the pivot, swipes it past Ronaldo, but Reed is right there for Philadelphia. Reed past the hash marks, pulls up on the forehand. Mazzaros makes the body contact. And now Lucic chugs through the neutral zone, tries a self-pass, doesn't get much on it, now follows against Coburn. Lucic plays it with the skate, flips past Ronaldo to Campbell back toward the point, but Barkowski didn't want to get caught in no man's land. Braden Shen takes it over the Boston line. Boychuk engages. Here's Ronaldo in front for Couturier, but the puck skips all the way to the near boards. Campbell pries it forward for Paille. He makes the pivot and faces Streit. Streit with a poke check to take the puck away. Paille hops over him, gets to the puck first, can't control with Braden Shen doing a conscientious job on the back check.
Shen at one end on the back check, Eriksson at the other.
Here's Streit, the defenseman, all the way to the corner, flips it through the crease. Grass gets a piece of the puck. Simmons taps down in front of the Zamboni doors. Braden Shen back to McDonald, his one-timer wide. Simmons fans on the chance from the right wing. Streit wrists it off the boards. Thornton gloves it down. He's got Paille on the diagonal. It goes indirect. Paille deadens it with the backhand. Thornton middle, and Thornton can't control on the forehand as Simmons was engaged from the back, and Thornton didn't have enough balance to stay on the puck. Lecavalier slips it to Braden Shen, tries a circus move. Chara takes out one of the monkey cage. Am I mixing metaphors again?
I have no idea.
Neither do I, but you know, it's another day at the Improv. Chara goes diagonally for Riley Smith into the zone. Voracek picks it off, gets around Bergeron, but Chara's there. Hamilton skips the puck up the boards, no icing. Let's go Bruins, the chant from the 205th consecutive Bruins sellout at TD Garden. Carl Soderberg off the half boards to Boychuk, the snapshot, save Emery, loose puck. Smith digs at it, it's underneath Emery. And finally the whistle. 9:06 to go in the game. 2-2 Bruins and Flyers, and a few nutcases in the house. To begin the day, the 7th Player Award presented by NESN, as voted upon by you fans at NESN.com. And it went to Riley Smith, whose name goes down alongside some of the real greats in Boston Bruins history. And Smith very modest about the award and humble about it. He almost seemed kind of embarrassed when he came out to take it. But that's part of the reason he fits in so perfectly in this franchise. People might have known a little bit about him, but they probably could not have expected that he would fit in this well in all three zones. Here's Matt Reed, the right shot on the left side for Philadelphia. Back to Coburn, a laser off the end glass, and it bounces around Wayne Simmons. Mazzaros bounces off. Simmons takes the hit. Simmons, a tremendous physical specimen, can dish it out and take it and control the puck while he's getting checked. Grossman goes D to D. Streit a little hesitation, now goes back to Grossman. They're lined up at the attacking line. He sails it in deep, rides the dasher and drops for Krejci. Krug turns toward the middle of the defensive zone under Krejci's backhand. Streit throws it right in front. Lecavalier's turnaround through Krug and wide of the post. Lucic wing to wing to Eriksson. Krejci on the diagonal. Eriksson finds Lucic. Tumbling puck in front. Krejci saved by Emery. Ray Emery with the save of the game as the Bruins work transition through the neutral zone.
Lecavalier gets the first opportunity against the Bruins. A little spin move. I thought he was going to leave it for Shen, who was coming in right behind him, but he took it himself. Misses on the glove side low, and then the Bruins in transition, moving the puck beautifully. Louis Eriksson with another terrific pass. Able to find Lucic coming late, and then Lucic to Krejci at the top of the crease. And Emery has to get it with his body and glove hand.
Emery was the reference point for Chad Johnson's season. 17-1 as the backup for Chicago last year. Eriksson's shot. Rattles off McDonald. Adam Hall in the diagonal with a little speed to Chara's side. And Rask steers the block over to Eriksson. Cardinal goes tumbling as he tries to go through Hamilton. Now Dougie Hamilton. Eriksson redirects the puck in deep. McDonald and Lucic. Lucic plays the body. McDonald shields the puck but gives it away to Eriksson. Back to Chara at the blue line. The drive saved by Emery with Lucic on the doorstep. Krejci gets caved in on the hit on the far side. Hartnell holds the puck on the boards. A good read from Chara to step into the passing lane. He controls the puck and scoops it in. Boston gets a full change.
Classic Lucic on the forecheck. It looked like McDonald was going to spin off him and make a play.
Paille deflects the outlet pass. Campbell has it stuck in his legs and he's offside.
Tuesday night at 7:30, join Dale Arnold and Barry Peterson when WB Mason presents Bruins Face Off Live. We'll get you ready for the drop of the puck in Minnesota. Look back at the Bruins' last meeting with the Wild and update all the playoff races around the NHL. Check it out Tuesday at 7:30.
I'm bringing binoculars and an oxygen mask to that game in Minnesota. Lovely arena.
And great service.
But yeah, absolutely. Tremendous staff there. But you are about 3,000 feet above the ice.
I'll help you.
You're carrying me. Thornton. Off Couturier, I believe, and Boychuk has speed. Boychuk, the self-pass to the corner, and he barrels in there. Emery pops it off the end boards. Paille attaches his hip to Michael Raffl. Timonen wrists the puck around. Braden Coburn with the huge strides gives it forward to Matt Reed. Reed dumps the puck down the boards. Bergeron back after it. Couturier, it deflects right in front of the goal, but Mazzaros is there to skate it up to the Boston line. Bergeron right there in support, and he flips the puck off the corner boards. Emery under pressure from Smith. Bergeron getting a shot. It was probably going over the top, but he had to hurry it with Smith in on the forecheck and tangling up with Emery.
Yeah, it starts back in the Bruins, right around their defensive blue line. Bergeron trailing the play. Sees Mazzaros is going to have a hard time getting separation from Reed, so he comes right in behind in case there's a turnover. And then he gets across the red line. He knows he's under 7 minutes to go in the third period of tie game, so that puck's going deep. And then he tracks the puck in support on the forecheck. He recognizes Emery probably still hasn't gotten back to the net. I'm going to take a chance, try to wing one towards the empty net.
Boychuk scores! Bergeron the clean face-off win, and it's a Johnny Rocket! 3-2 Bruins. Two goals in 3 games for Johnny Boychuk.
Winning a face-off clean is like getting a perfect pass. And this one just comes right into the wheelhouse of Johnny Boychuk, and it's spinning and bouncing a little bit. And that's going to cause some problems for Emery because this puck does a couple funny things. Almost looks like it goes a little left to right and changes height at the same time, dipping a little bit perhaps towards the end. And it beats Emery glove side, but a face-off win clean by Bergeron leads to the Boychuk goal.
And you know, as Professor Brickley reminds you, go all the way back to that sequence in the replay in the defensive zone that results in an attacking zone faceoff. Bergeron right behind Mazzaros. He slings it in, Bergeron does, on Emery.
And you got to give Riley Smith a little credit too, getting to the front of the net, a little bit of a screen.
Absolutely. 5:53 to go in the game. Bruins lead Philadelphia 3-2 in a matinee dandy. The Amica Coverage Cam presented by Amica Insurance. Great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance.
Patrice Bergeron able to win this draw directly back to Johnny Boychuk. It's almost like a perfect pass when you win it that clean. Allows Boychuk right off that right hip to tee it up. And here's one of the keys right here. The one-on-one battle, or lack thereof, Streit against the screening Riley Smith. If you're Streit, you either got to get in that shooting lane and block the shot or eliminate Smith so your goaltender can see it.
Luke Schenn, cross ice. Zach Ronaldo was such a factor in the first period. Rifles the wrist shot high off glass. It caroms to Eriksson, 3-on-2. Lucic far side. Here's Krug to Lucic. The shot scores! It busts through Emery, and the Bruins go up 4-2. 2 goals in 31 seconds.
When you try to score goals from bad angles and miss the net, it can be so counterproductive. The Flyers trying to get something going. They got too many guys up the ice. If you miss the net, 3 guys caught. And now Krug's able to beat everybody on the back check. That creates a 4-on-2 for Boston. The Bruins, when they practice and they take bad angle shots, hit the net. Shots with a purpose. Don't try to score necessarily. Try to get a second chance, a rebound. You miss the net, you're going to be in trouble, and the Bruins take advantage. The overhead showing. It looks like it's going to stay Lucic's goal. Not sure if Krejci got a blade of his stick on it or not. But the Bruins extend their lead.
This is the 250th time in the Claude Julien era that the Bruins have led by 2 at any point in the game. Kelly swings the puck to Caron. Caron fires it. It goes off high glass. Soderberg engages with Hartnell. Kelly strokes the puck down through the corner. Soderberg has a broken stick in the sequence. Hartnell sprays the puck to Campbell, skates, but it goes right to Braden Coburn, who's caught on the wrong side of this one. Here comes Paille with space. The drive saved by Emery. And he gathers the rebound, and Hartnell chops down on a stick as he sails through the crease.
Yeah, there was a delayed penalty on this play, too, and the referee picked up the stick, and he was holding the stick in the air. Let's go back to the goal. Louis Eriksson, that's a smart play. You don't have to be the fastest guy or the lead guy. Just get that puck out in front of you to make sure that it's onside. And then Krug's able to jump into the play. Krug's got a chance to shoot the puck, but he wants Emery to commit to him and try to open up more net by moving the puck. The shot by Lucic, Emery gets a piece of it, but it still finds the back of the net inside that far post. And now the Bruins on the power play with the slashing penalty to Giroux. The Bruins actually going to get a power play this afternoon.
And the Bruins power play brought to you by McDonald's. Sure looked on that replay as if Krejci's blade got a piece of that puck before it tumbled into Emery. We'll see if they straighten it out and see it that way. Bergeron wins the face-off. Hamilton's wrist shot off of Riley Smith's feet.
Yeah, all you have to do is ask David Krejci. You get a piece of it?
Yep.
He'll know.
Yep.
And they're going to give it to Krejci. Well, the Bruins can put this game away right now. 4.5 minutes to go. Up by 2. Power play chance.
Rask comes out to take Coburn's 190-foot scale job. Hamilton middle of the line to Eriksson. He pivots to Smith, who quickly scoops the puck in deep. Soderberg on the go against Timonen. Coburn can't control the puck. Eriksson to Soderberg to Eriksson. He's got Bergeron at the dot. Puck deflects to Riley Smith. The drive blocked down in front by Timonen. High slot. Bergeron the triangle on the near boards. Smith creeping in far side, so he's in position for this deflected shot. Turns it along the goal line. Timonen has it up the boards, but Smith has it. Can't tap it all the way to the corner, trying to find Eriksson. The quick drive, and that one sprays wide on the stick side post. Hamilton holds. Smith to Soderberg, top of the circle to Hamilton. The wrist shot wide on the glove side. Riley Smith controls Soderberg right toward the post as Timonen goes down on his belly. Soderberg stays with it to Smith to Bergeron, rotating to the left point. Gets it through the stick of Couturier. Riley Smith closes the curl into Dragon. The post for the 7th player. Would have been a storybook ending to his day.
Right up the crossbar. A little curl and drag.
Hamilton tees it up off Smith's skate. Wins the race against Couturier. Coburn extends. Bergeron keeps it on the paint. It's onside. 3-on-2 on the power play. Bergeron holds. Krug's one-timer tipped in the slot, and it goes wide. Hamilton along the line to Krug. Krug holds against Couturier, who's almost leaning on his knees. He's so tired, and who can blame him? Bruins with tremendous zone time. Hamilton's shot goes off Soderberg's legs and wide. Have the Bruins spent the entire 2 minutes of this power play in the attacking zone? Amazing. Here's Bergeron cross ice. Eriksson is blast. Shoulder saved by Emery as the power play expires. One shot on goal, but a lot of pressure. Krug's driving a save by Emery. A little pop up off the stick. Reed takes it, lifts it all the way down the ice. It tumbles past Krejci. Listen,
That power play unit, Jack, they get it.
Marchand drops to Lucic. It skips past Krejci. Boychuk whacks it on the backhand down to the corner. Throws it in front for Lucic. His stick gets broken. Hartnell skates it straight up the slot. The puck pinballs back and strike control.
And when I say I get it, they understand exactly what they're trying to do, and they are really in sync in terms of creating the looks that they want, the 2-on-1s, in order to isolate the penalty killers. Krejci
taps to space, turns the puck back to Boychuk. Looks as if the Bruins' short skid of 2 games without a win, 0-1-1 in that period, will come to an end here. Campbell has it in his knees. He wedges it wide. Streit tosses the backhand around through the corner. Thornton. Paille racing down the wing. Thornton jams in. Couturier tosses it center circle. Bartkowski extends to get it to Paille. Thornton closing. Thornton's wrist shot and a glove stop by Emery. He'll take a face-off with 1:07 to go in the game. The Audi Performance Play brought to you by your local New England Audi dealers. Experience Audi Quattro all-wheel drive today.
Big face-off win by Patrice Bergeron. Smith to the front of the net. Streit there in one-on-one coverage. The bomb by Boychuk past Emery. I believe this will be Lucic's goal, but the Bruins take advantage of a missed net shot in the offensive zone by Philadelphia. Transition game. Krug jumping into the play, which is what he does best to create the 4-on-2. The nice pass across the ice to get Emery to have to move. And Lucic's little wrist shot. Emery gets a piece, but not enough.
Bergeron's drive and a save by Emery. Patrice Bergeron, by the way, with the assist on Johnny Boychuk's goal, now has 9 goals, 6 assists, 15 points in a career-long 11-game scoring streak. At the most important time of the season, Patrice Bergeron has been, if not the best player in the league, right there with him. The net empty in the Philadelphia end, down by 2 goals. This is one of the arguments for the 3-point game. Philadelphia desperate for points in the standings, willing to pull the goalie down 2. Chara to Eriksson with a gaping net ahead for Kelly. He can walk it home. The Bruins lead the league in empty net goals.
Well, Chara's initial clearing attempt doesn't get out. Philly just kind of throws it back in his direction because that's all they can do with it out high. So there was going to be a possession play against the Flyers using a high stick. But a nice play by Chara. Just lay it over on the opposite side of the ice where a wide open Louis Eriksson. Eriksson takes a look. He knows he wants to get to the red line. The Flyers start to close on the puck area. And that leaves Chris Kelly open. And he just lays a little nice saucer pass. Allows Kelly to just handle that and walk in on the empty net.
Louis Eriksson with 4 assists. The second time he's done that in his career. It's his second career 4-point game. Might be his first 4-assist game. Excuse me, I misspoke.
Yeah, and think about it now. They get Kyle Soderberg back in the lineup. He missed the 1 game for the birth of the child. And you get that third line back together. And even with Iginla out of the lineup and Eriksson on the right side on the top line, the Bruins still put a 5 spot on the board.
For the Boston Bruins, it is their 50th regulation or overtime win of the season.